Hello, I'm Solly Joe from Would You Ben and welcome to Hometalk. So let's get started. We're going to be dressing the front of this piece of furniture with some Would You Ben mouldings. But the best thing about these beauties is once you warm them up, they become nice and flexible. So to heat your Would You Ben mouldings up, you can use a hairdryer, just takes a little bit longer, or a heat gun if you feel proficient with one, or you can lay them all on a griddle. So once you've got your Would You Ben nice and bendy, you can then pop your glue on so you can stick it to the designated substrate. Always use a good quality wood glue and always spread the glue out entirely on the back of your Would You Ben moulding. That way you will get a very good adhesion to the substrate. So before you actually stick it down to the surface, you can remove any excess glue with a Q-tip. Once the Would You Ben mouldings are warmed up, as you can see, they can be bent to just about any contour, and once they cool down, they will remain in the position that you have bent them into. So I'm going to now show you how you can cut your Would You Ben moulding once it's warmed up. So once your Would You Ben moulding is nice and warm, you can come in with a Stanley knife and just cut that into place. So for my cut here, it is a little bit jagged. So I'm now going to sand it down with some sandpaper. As I said before, you can sand Would You Ben mouldings and you get real sawdust. We're now going to place some Would You Ben trim around this rim here. When you're working with trims, always keep the trim rolled up. It retains the heat and is a lot easier to handle. I'm just popping that on the surface, and the great thing about this is it bends round the corner. As a general rule, the Would You Ben mouldings take the same amount of time to cool down as they do to warm up. So I've got the Would You Ben mouldings on the surface, they've cooled down, they're nicely adhered. We're now going to open up the holes where the knobs are going to go. So you may now ask me, how are we going to get the drawers open, seeing as we've stuck Would You Ben mouldings over them? So I've now got all the mouldings on the surface, and I'm starting to paint her in a lovely fuchsia colour. Pink is definitely in at the moment. This is the first coat of paint, so at the moment I'm just mapping my colours out because I'm going to be blending in quite a few. And to come in with a little bit of our red medium cadmium posh chalk metallic pastes. And the colours are mixing in situ, so I'm creating lots of various shades of pink here. Back to using my pointy brush so I can get right into the nooks and crannies of the Would You Ben mouldings. So first of all, we're going to start off with the stenciling, and for the stenciling we're using our lovely Posh Chalk Premium stencils. This particular design is the Mystery Thorns. Now I have applied some low tack glue to the back, and it just helps a little bit placing the stencil. And I'm going to be stenciling with some Posh Chalk metallic pigments in various colours. This is the pale gold. Now you don't need much for the Posh Chalk metallic pigments, tiny little bit, and then I'm going to mix that in with our Posh Chalk infuser. You can use any good quality top coat, and there you have it, liquid gold. I'm just going to mix that up. So I'm going to use a stencil brush for this, and I'm not going to go straight onto the piece. I don't want a lot on, so I'm going to come in and just dab off the excess with my paintbrush. If I need more, I can always go back in. And some of the pale gold now. I've got to be really careful with this stuff because it is very blingy. So, are we ready for the first reveal? So I'm just going to sand this down a little bit to tone down the vibrancy. So it's now time to decorate the Would You Ben mouldings. Coming in with some of the red carmine pigments here. And when you're dry brushing, especially with metallics, you need to hold your brush sideways. So the only thing left now is for me to bring to life these red parts here, and for that I'm going to use Posh Chalk metallic aqua patinas, very highly pigmented materials. And again, I'm just going to brush over, just gives it more depth in that corner. And there you have it. The front is now finished. I'm now going to carry on with the sides, and I'll see you in a bit. So onto the top now, and I'm going to use one of my favourite Dixie Belle colours, Peony. I'm going to be really careful that I don't splash the front and the sides, because I will mess all my lovely stenciling up. I'm now creating a metallic wash on the top out of the Posh Chalk metallic pastes. So I'm using a lot of water here just to get the paste runnier. Right, it's now time to do the sexy sides of the drawers. So I'm just coming in now with the rose gold Posh Chalk metallic paste and creating a wash. So now I'm going to stencil the side of the drawers with the Posh Chalk stencil. This is actually the floor tile. I'm coming in now just to do a bit of raised stenciling with the Posh Chalk metallic paste in primary green. And now for the reveal. The original hardware. Now they're a little bit drab and they don't go with the gold that I've already got on the surface, so I'm going to paint them with Posh Chalk metallic pigments. I'm using the pale gold, which is the same gold that I used on the cabinet itself. Add some infuser. I'm going to make this relatively thick, so I don't need to go over it in loads of coats. Right, there we go. You can see the difference there. Get these painted and get them on the piece, and that's it.